Good evening and welcome to North Las Vegas if you're not lucky enough to live here. We welcome you to our City Council meeting this evening. There are two public forums set aside for public comment, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting. If you wish to speak, please complete one of the blue cards that are located on the table on the outside entrance where you came in or over here on the podium rail. We have them here. If you'll fill that out, give your card to the city clerk who sits right here to my left. When I call upon you, we ask that you limit your comments no more than 3 minutes and that we avoid repetition if possible. Please note that Councilman Churchill is not present tonight. He is on vacation. Madam City Clerk, are we in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law?
Mayor, yes, we are in compliance.
Thank you. Tonight we had the opportunity to have the invocation given by Pastor Stephen Henry from the Grace Point Church. Following that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by one of our own wonderful police officers, Officer Mario Olson. Please rise.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we pause to thank you for the many blessings you've given us. We thank you for the things we take for granted, like friends and family. We thank you for the basic necessities of life, such as food and shelter. We thank you for the many freedoms that we enjoy in this country. We also recognize that these blessings are not enjoyed by everyone. Friends and family are lost. Many people are in need, and some in faraway countries live oppressed. But I pray for us as a community that you would use us to transform our city, our state, our country, and our world. I pray that we as a community would reflect the qualities that you have so graciously shown to us. I ask that you would help us to love one another, to forgive one another, to serve one another, bear one another's burdens, to encourage one another, comfort one another, seek to do good to one another, and to live at peace with one another. I pray for our children, recognizing that they will carry on the work that we start now. I pray that we would teach them to live in the same manner. I pray that you would guard and protect them when we cannot. And I thank you for our community leaders, many of whom are in this room, for those in office, for teachers in our schools, employers, activists, and parents. Thank you for the work that these men and women are doing to serve this community. And I pray that you would bless their efforts so that the city would experience healing, peace, and unity. Will you help us in this endeavor, Lord? I pray this in the name of the Father who loves us, the Son who saves us, and the Holy Spirit who guides us. Amen.
Good evening. Would you please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to presentations, tonight we have two presentations and a proclamation. Fire Chief Calhoun will present a certificate to Deputy Fire Chief Travis Anderson. Mayor Pro Tem Goins Brown will present Empowering 2XL with the Business of the Month certificate, and Councilman Black will present the proclamation for flash flood safety awareness. Council, let's go down for these presentations.
Good evening, everybody. At this time, I'd like to invite Samantha Bivens, representative from Congressman Ruben Kuhn's office, up as well. She wants to be here today to help present this certification. Again, my name is Joe Calhoun. I'm the fire chief of the North Las Vegas Fire Department. Many years ago, the National Fire Academy and the United States government realized the importance of training firefighters, executive-level firefighters, for the day-to-day operations and the day-to-day tasks of running a fire department. It's not just about putting water on fires anymore. It's about running an organization not unlike any other business that you would find throughout the community. So when they put this program together, it's called the Executive Fire Officer Program. It's a master's level program, a 4-year program that teaches leadership, planning, dealing with budgets, and again, dealing with the intricacies of managing large-scale operations of a fire department. The North Las Vegas Fire Department has had and still has several people that are going through this program, but we had a recent graduate of the program, Deputy Chief Travis Anderson. This program requires a lot of time. It's, again, a 4-year program. They go each year to the academy for 2 weeks, and then after they leave the academy with the classroom portion, they work on papers and projects that will benefit their organization in policy development and planning for their departments, and they're also shared throughout the country so that other firefighters and fire departments can learn from the research projects that they did. The National Fire Academy feels this is a very prestigious certification to earn. It's a lot of time and effort. Again, it's a master's level program, and we're very proud of the work that Deputy Chief Anderson put into it. The National Fire Academy also notified all of our congressional representatives throughout the country whenever somebody receives this esteemed certification, and so that's why the Congressman's office is represented here today. So at this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to her so she can say a few words about the certification as well.
Good evening, everybody. As he said, my name is Samantha Bivens, and I am a district representative in Congressman Ruben Kuen's office. When we received notification that Deputy Chief Anderson had completed this program, we wanted to honor him with a certificate for his accomplishment. So if I could get you to come up here at this time. This is a certificate of congressional recognition for Deputy Fire Chief Travis Anderson.
And on behalf of the National Fire Academy, the North Las Vegas Fire Department, and the people of North Las Vegas, I would like to issue Deputy Chief Anderson his certification for the Executive Fire Officer Program. Sure.
First off, I want to thank the fire department. They obviously let me go for 2 weeks. The city for sponsoring me, and the citizens for trusting me to help lead this organization. It's a privilege to work for the city. It's a privilege to work and serve the people that work in our department. And I just can't thank everyone enough for the opportunities I've had here in North Las Vegas.
All right, I'd like to ask Mr. Lorenzo Reed to come on down. I've had the pleasure of knowing this young man 8 or 9 years. When I first came on council, we were introduced, and since then, he's just been more than a partner. I consider him my little brother. And not many know what he does out in the community. He runs a business called Empowering to Excel. And I'm not going to go into the detail. I'll let you explain exactly what you do. But it's a rehabilitation and mentoring service program that he mentors, counsels children and families in the community, and he ties it into another nonprofit called Rosie's Wish. And just to get it, so that you all know exactly what he does on a daily basis in our community, I thought it was just befitting to honor him this month.
So I want to thank the council for bringing me and inviting me. It's not every day that you get rewarded for a lot of hard work that you do. So sometimes you go to work and you wonder if you're doing it right. And then days like this happen, and then you feel the praise and the love from everybody. I just feel as though as adults we don't praise each other enough. So today is great for me and honorable, and I would love to be here with Ms. Goins Browns and Mr. John Lee, Isaac Verone. It's a lot of people that I've been with for the last 8 years trying to put my foot in the door, and I feel as though I planted my seeds and everything is growing now. But I like to call it the three-headed monster. We started with Empowering to Excel, which is a rehabilitation and mentoring service. So we write treatment plans for families that's been torn apart through the court system. And we work those treatment plans until we get these families back to their highest level of functioning. So when we started that, it's a Medicaid funded program. And so I figured out that there's families out here that don't have insurance. So we came with Rosie's Wish, which is named after my mom. So Rosie's Wish, we work with obese and diabetic families. So families that can't afford diabetic material, we go out and get it for them. From insulin to strips to meters. We're putting a foundation together now where we can purchase insulin pumps. Those insulin pumps, as you know, are like $10,000. So we came in existence in 2012, and my goal was to get one insulin pump a year. And we have achieved that up to today. So with that, I send kids to diabetic camps up in Utah called Camp Buck. So we fund that at camp as well. Then we just came with Excel Cleaning. So Excel Cleaning is a carpet cleaning janitorial service where I hire kids in my rehabilitation program and teach them how to do carpet cleaning and janitorial services. So we put money in their pocket the right way. That's my everyday dream every day is to fight diabetes. So that's actually what I do from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. My son has it. My mom passed away from it. And until they give us the cure, we need to figure out a way how to get these kids insulin pumps. So if anybody have any ideas, I'm here to listen. But once again, I want to thank everybody for this award, and I appreciate everything that everybody does in the city of North Las Vegas. Thank you.
I got to give this to you first, though.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to present this proclamation this evening, but before I do so, if you've spent any amount of time during the summer months here in Southern Nevada, you know the power and impact and devastation that can come from a flash flood and from thunderstorms. Just this last weekend, I was up at Mount Charleston camping earlier in the day on Friday. They had a torrential downpour. It's amazing the amount of debris and rocks and the damage that can happen in a very short period of time. If you want to experience a flash flood in the safest way possible, go to the Springs Preserve. They have a simulation there. It's amazing. You can be up close and personal and see the power of this flowing water. So today, it's important. Our community has dedicated tremendous amounts of resources over the last several decades to put in flood channels and basins, but there's more to it than that. The other part of the equation is citizen involvement, education, and being aware and making the right decisions. So on that note, I would like to read this proclamation into the record. Whereas the Regional Flood Control District strives to improve the protection of life and property for existing residents, future residents, and visitors from the impacts of flooding in Clark County through a flood safety awareness campaign. And whereas more than 1/2 of all flood-related deaths are the result of people attempting to drive through flooded areas. And whereas 91 detention basins and more than 610 miles of channels and underground storm drains have been built to manage the flood risks in Southern Nevada. And whereas each of these projects make another area of the community safer from floods. And whereas it is critically important to educate the public about flood hazards, the potential for flash flooding, and how to best protect themselves in floods. And whereas flash floods can occur in any month of the year, and summer rains in July through September have the greatest potential to create flash floods in North Las Vegas. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of North Las Vegas, do hereby proclaim July 2018 as Flash Flood Awareness Month in North Las Vegas and urge our citizens to become aware of their environment and the dangers of floods. In the witness whereof we have set our hands and caused the seal of the City of North Las Vegas to be affixed this 18th day of July 2018. So, Andrew's from the Regional Flood Control District, and would you like to add anything to that? Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm Andrew Trelease. I'm the Assistant General Manager of the Clark County Regional Flood Control District. And thank you very much for all the kind words. I'd like to point out that 75 miles of channels and storm drains and 8 detention basins have been built in just North Las Vegas since the inception. We've spent about $350 million since the 1980s in North Las Vegas on flood control facilities. And that's great, and that keeps the floods away from people as long as you stay out of those channels and storm drains and basins when it's raining. But we also want to remind you to stay away from the hazards, keep people away from the floods. It's very dangerous. We've had several rescues already this year with the rains that we've had. And we have a new ad campaign that says water always wins. Just 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. A foot of water can sweep your car away if it's fast moving enough. So just, stay inside, stay high ground. Usually within an hour or so, the storm has passed, and you can just stay safe and then just wait it out. And it's a much better decision to do that. So water always wins. Please stay safe this flood season, and thank you very much for the proclamation.
Once they get up there, so they can, see it. So, Mayor, to show you the power of a flash flood, we have a very, very short 7-second video. I'm showing you the power of the water against a vehicle. Go ahead and hit it, Adele.
Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? God.
As he said, water always wins. Now we can close that down. It's a YouTube video. We can't control what they show afterwards. Our lights will come on in just a second. Council items. Council items is up there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we're having technical difficulties on that. That's very informational. I'm on the flood control board, and we see that, and it's very informational. Moving on to council items. Councilman Barone.
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate it. Just real fast, I'm going to begin with a little bit of sad news. Longtime residents might actually know the very famous Shakespeare family. And I just wanted to note the passing of one of my longtime residents here, Miss LaJuan Shakespeare, who she was, again, a longtime resident. And I forget the name of the ward over here on 5th Street, but she was a longtime resident and a member of that ward before it finally, so that's why I just wanted to note her passing. That's the sad news. I'm sorry to hear my friends passed. Anyhow, I have good news. I borrowed this little mini shovel from our very good friend here, Mayor Pro Tem Goins Brown, and she got this one at the groundbreaking of Sephora on August 12th. It's a 714,000 square foot building that's slated to open May 2019 to bring about 400 new jobs. And again, I think is part of the recovery of North Las Vegas. Again, we welcome them. I alluded to this during the redevelopment agency meeting. We're hosting a meet and greet right here at North Las Vegas City Hall for the principals and assistant principals of Ward 1 and Ward 2. Mayor Pro Tem Goins Brown and I, we're both fellow educators. We thought it was important to invite the principals or their designees to come in and meet our staff, especially the parking, traffic, and our police staff. And we're going to do everything we can to make the opening of the school year to be as smooth and as safe as possible. And again, school starting up August 13th, folks. So so you'll be having to slow down for these school zones. Remember, you're not allowed, for instance, to make a U-turn in a school zone area. Most people don't even really realize that. It's very dangerous. Myself and Maya Cinemas, and probably a few more people who are joining in, we're hosting a back-to-school backpack giveaway right here at the front lawn of the City Hall, August 7th, from 5 to 7 p.m., And again, we have a great new partner coming to the neighborhood, Maya Cinemas, and of course, they'd like to welcome everybody to know who they are, and of course, that's why we're having the backpack event. There'll be more information to come out, I think, probably through our website and through Maya Cinemas. And on that same day, I guess the mayor just found out that his colleague mayor from Mexico, what they call him Presidente Municipal, the mayor, Bahia de Banderas, which is basically North Puerto Vallarta, will also be here on that day, and that is El Señor Jaime Alonso Cuevas Teo. And we'll be welcoming him because, of course, we've been working on a sister cityship with the city. So lots of great things happening here in our fair little city.
Thank you. That was a wonderful report, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. This Friday, I'm just honored to be able to participate in the Summer Business Institute, like their closing panel session, and it'll be at the Clark County Government Center. And I know we have a few interns that are working here at the City of North Las Vegas with the SBI program. So we'll just get to sit and talk and dialogue with these young people, and they get to ask us questions about what we do and what local government is all about. So that's this Friday. On last Saturday, I was also honored to speak at it was called the African Diaspora Leadership Conference, and I was just asked to highlight North Las Vegas. So I had a great time just saying all the great things, all the new opportunities, why we are the community of choice, all the great things that I just boasted about the city of North Las Vegas. And you had a lot of different dignitaries from Africa who currently live in the United States. But it was just a very, very powerful conference. And then just their goal of just bringing a sister city and how to work better with the state of Nevada. Councilman Black and I attended with the Metropolitan Police Department a homeless CompStat, meeting the other day, and what the goal was just to dialogue about the homeless situation throughout the valley, and the goal was just to have each area command captain discuss their priorities about homeless, the three top concerns, what they are doing about it, and moving forward as to how to address the homeless problem in Las Vegas. And they shared that they probably get over 72,000 calls a year pertaining to homeless issues from a gamut of things, from minor crimes to just major offenses, just either panhandling all the way up to could be murder. It just depends on what the call was about. And we came away with the top issues out of the meeting were just places for the homeless to go. There are services out there, but if there's no beds, then we still have a dilemma because there's no place for the homeless to go. are there laws and ordinances that the jurisdictions need to look at or revise moving forward? And then they use the term called service resistant, because there are homeless people out there, but not all of them want the services that are offered. So you have to have a plan in place to deal with people who are service resistant. And last thing, basically, is just educating the public on homeless issues, concerns. They talked about, should it be illegal for homeless to panhandle? Should it be illegal for, do we hold private property owners responsible if homeless people are, knocking on your windows asking for whatever? So those were just some of the conversations that came out of the meeting. And also they shared, all the various agency resources were there to share what they offer for the homeless community. Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Black?
Thank you, Mayor Lee. Along the same lines of Mayor Pro Tem Goins Brown, the meeting yesterday, I thought it was amazing because it was filled with law enforcement upper management, if you will, from Metro, and they were the first to admit that you cannot arrest your way out of the homelessness problem. So it's really not a matter of law enforcement out there arresting folks just because. Law enforcement, there is definitely a compassion component to what they do, the outreach, the offering of services. I took, my hand got a cramp. I took so many notes. There are so many things that we can do better here in our community in North Las Vegas. And so basically, I'd like to just say stay tuned because we have that on our radar. We're certainly concerned. It's a human issue with major implications, and we'd like to make a difference here in our city and lead out throughout the community. On a few cool notes, this past Saturday was an awesome event at Craig Ranch Park. I don't know if any of you had the chance to participate. It was slides, rides, and rock and roll. There was a 51-foot inflatable slide. It's the largest inflatable water slide in the country. The weather was great. The crowds were not as big as they could have been. So if we do this again, it's really an event that you don't want to miss. The music was awesome. It had a thunderstorm rain right in the middle of the second music act. It was really a well-done event. So hats off to our Parks and Leisure Services Department. This coming August 6th, I will be hosting or co-hosting a back-to-school backpack drive. We did it this last year. I teamed up with a really awesome motorcycle club here in Southern Nevada called Second to None. Last year, we gave away 350 backpacks filled with school supplies. This year, they've kicked it up a notch, and they're coming with 500 backpacks. And I've also partnered with the Southern Nevada Bicycle Coalition and the local bike shop, as well as Olympia Company's Sedona Ranch, and we're going to be giving away about 40 bicycle shop quality BMX bikes to students to help them navigate their way to school in a safe manner. We'll be doing some education on bicycle safety with the RTC and the Bicycle Coalition. That's on August 6th at the Silver Mesa Rec Center from 4 to 6 p.m. And if you wanted to get involved on the front end, this coming Monday, the 23rd at Silver Mesa Rec Center, I'm having a backpack school supply stuffing activity. So if you want to come and stuff some backpacks with much needed school supplies, that's also going to be at the Silver Mesa Rec Center. On August 10th, the last Friday before the kids go back to school, myself along with Clark County Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick are hosting an end-of-summer swim and movie night at the Silver Mesa Rec Center. It starts at 6 p.m. It's open to the community. Of course, it's there in Ward 3, but anyone's welcome to come and participate. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I hear from residents in your community all the time. The city is very proud of you and the effort you all put into your districts, and we sure appreciate that. So this is probably the week that I have my 5th anniversary as being mayor. And I know, Ms. Goins Brown, your father was a city councilman for many, many years, and he comes and watches you and supports you and maybe doesn't believe you should vote certain ways, and that's the politics in a family. But tonight I have the 3 members of my family that snuck in because every time I go home from city council meeting, they say, "What happened?" I go, "Man, it was just great. You should have been there." Or do you want me to come next week? I go, "No, I will get it. I'll be home early." Well, tonight my wife Marilyn and my daughter Summer, my son-in-law Thad, in the back have come to see what a city council meeting in North Las Vegas is like. So I sure appreciate you for coming, and once every 5 years is enough. All right. Thank you very much. Now, moving on to public forum. This is a time set aside to comment on posted agenda items. This public forum excludes discussion on public hearing items, which will be heard later separately. So if you want to speak on any items listed under consent agenda, business, or ordinances, now is the time. Madam City Clerk, I I see I have a card here. Is there anybody else that has shown up that has a card? So this is our cards right now. We'll wait for the city clerk to acknowledge the blue cards, and when the last speaker finishes, we'll close the public forum. Mr. Bouchard, would you like to please come up? Speaking on item 4 and 8, correct? Well, that's what I see. That's what I see written down here. Okay.
Yeah, my question is, I have a couple of mics now. Which one? Okay, sibilance. Can you hear me? It's getting good feed over there.
You state your name for the record.
Gary Bouchard. Hey, I'd like to work with the city manager back. Nice to see you again. Anyway, yeah, I have a question. You know, why are we paying more for marijuana than people in Colorado? And why is none of this money filtering down to school?
I don't represent the businesses nor the state legislature at this time, and those were questions for them.
Well, you got friends
But
up there. Can't you ask these people? I mean, I think a lot of people right now, including all my friends who are teachers, who are having to spend $2,000 or $3,000 a year to buy school supplies, are wondering why this money isn't going where it's supposed to go. And keep in mind, I was in favor of this as long as the money went to the right place, and also, I think I deserve the same quality of marijuana as people in Colorado. And I'm not getting it. I'm paying more for it. And I'm on a fixed income. There must be somebody that can answer these questions.
Yeah, your state legislature could. That money
No,
goes
they won't talk
in
to
their
me.
general fund.
They will not talk to me. So you want to move on to 8?
Yes, sir.
I don't remember wanting to talk about item 8. Maybe it was item, yeah. I don't know, I just must have felt like making a mark.
Okay. Thank you very much. And good luck, and maybe you can just find a better place to buy marijuana.
Yeah,
So,
Colorado.
I don't know if they're
It's
competitive.
800 miles. It's
And
too
I'd hope
far
they
to
were
go.
competitive
By the time
pricing.
you get back,
so.
you've smoked it all.
I think, Mr. Johnson, are you coming up here for? Well, this would be your time, brother. Okay. Item number 4, Mr. John Johnson, for the record.
John Johnson, 4265 Village Hill Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89147. So I actually just wanted to comment on 4 and what he had said, because a lot of people get confused and they don't understand how taxes work. So the money that was supposed to go to schools, that's the state taxes. Every business has to get a state business license and get taxed by the state. That money is supposed to go towards the education fund. That was what was written into the law. So here we have a business that's getting a city permit and gets city taxes. So my question I just thought of right now that I wanted to ask, where does the city revenue taxes, where does that money go? Do that go to our general fund? You know, I'm just curious to know, where does that money go for the city?
Thank you. And I will have that question answered by our city attorney, Mr. Juden. I mean, city manager, pardon me.
Thanks, Mayor. Most of those revenues that come in from, well, all the revenues that come in from the city from the licensees actually go for enforcement. So there's a large enforcement component that's with our MME and now with our recreational marijuana. That goes from anywhere from security plans to odor issues. So that's essentially where that money goes to. It's for code enforcement, for policing.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bouchard, if you want to follow up with that, with the state, that would be fine, though. We recognize it's not going to schools. Okay. At this time, we'll close the public forum and move on to the agenda.
Item 1, approve City Council regular meeting agenda of July 18, 2018 for possible action.
Mayor and Council, there's several changes to tonight's agenda, and staff recommends that items number 40, 41, 42, 44, and 46 be withdrawn. Item numbers 38, 39, 43, and 45 have the final action set for August 15th, 2018 instead of August 1st. and that council continues items 49 through 53 to the August 15th council meeting. With those changes, it's staff's recommendation that the agenda is approved as amended.
Thank you. At this time, the chair will take a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move to approve as amended.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Item is approved. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion. However, any consent item may be moved to the business portion of the agenda for discussion at the request of any council member.
Mayor and council, the consent agenda consists of items 2 through 15, and it's our recommendation that the agenda is approved as published.
Thank you. At this time, the chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to set future public hearing dates.
Matters listed under set future public hearing dates will not be heard by the City Council at this meeting. If you wish to speak on these items, attend the meeting where the public hearing will be heard and submit a blue card to the clerk. Item 16, set date on any appeals filed or required public hearings from the City Planning Commission meetings.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, I so direct you to set any public hearing dates as needed.
So noted, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to public hearings.
Item 12, approve AMP 0718, North 5th and Rome Commercial Lot for applicant Nevada Hand to amend the comprehensive plan to change the land use from multifamily to neighborhood commercial, located at the northwest corner of North 5th Street and Rome Boulevard, APN 124-22-701-009.
Thank you. Welcome, sir. If you'd state your name and address for the record, we'd appreciate it.
Good evening, Bob Feibelman with Nevada Hand, 295 East Warm Springs Road.
Thank you very much.
We're in agreement with staff's recommendations, and we're hoping for approval. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Council, do you have any comments or questions on this information he's brought forth on this development? Seeing none, it seems like the Planning Commission approved it and the City Council likes it, so I'll call for the vote. We'll take a motion, please.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Thank you. Good night.
Item 18, approve VAC 0618, Villages at Tule Springs Village 4, for applicant KB Home to vacate portions of right-of-way and easements in the RCL PCD, Medium Density Residential Planned Community Development District, generally located at the northwest corner of Deer Springs Way and Lawrence Street, APNs 124-23-112-002 and 003, 124-23-199-009, 124-23-212-004, 124-23-299-007, 124-23-511-001 through 007, and 124-23-699-010.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Matt Key, on behalf of the client.
Could you speak into the microphone?
Oh,
there we go.
5740 South Arville, Las Vegas 89118. On behalf of the applicant, we agree with staff recommendations for approval. I'm here to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Counselor, do you guys have any questions on this issue? They seem to be okay. We have somebody from the audience that would like to speak. Would you step aside just for a second? Stay close. Mr. Bouchard, once again, did you have something to say about this? This was probably not the one. No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay. Does anybody else here would like to speak on this item? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Close the public hearing. Council, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to business.
Item 19, approve countywide voting for municipal elections at all county vote centers by any Clark County registered voter, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute an amendment to the city's existing interlocal agreement and a form approved by the city attorney.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, I know this is in your domain here. Did you have any sort of presentation for this, or could you explain it?
Mayor, I have no formal presentation. Currently, the city adopted an interlocal for election services in 16, and the first election that we had was in 2017, where our residents could actually vote at vote centers. The current equipment that Clark County uses is being upgraded in the next few months. Right now, we can only vote at a location in North Las Vegas. The new equipment has the capability of allowing a resident in Henderson or Boulder City or Las Vegas to vote here and vice versa. And so this act, if adopted by council, would allow a voter in any Clark County location to vote at any of the vote centers that we have.
So what I hear you saying is somebody is fortunate enough that lives in Henderson to actually come to North Las Vegas and work, or somebody in North Las Vegas is unfortunate to have to work out of North Las Vegas?
Yes.
They can vote at any city they want.
They can vote at any city, any vote center, because now with the adoption by our city of using vote centers at the last election, all of the cities within Clark County use vote centers, and now the new equipment can be configured to allow those voters to do that if all the councils of all the cities agree to it.
And that is for the primary and the general.
Yes.
We have a question.
Madam City Clerk, are we collecting data to see which vote centers got the most turnout, or are we going to keep the same locations as we approved before?
Well, with each election, we have the opportunity to use different vote centers. We want to have them spread around our cities such that we have something available close to each voters, so that if they want to walk to a facility, they can. Clark County is the one that tallies the votes, so they collect that information. So after any election is held, we can see how many votes were collected at particular ones. With the adoption of this, we'll also be able to see how many of ours voted in Henderson and vice versa.
Councilmember Owen?
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. Madam City Clerk, thank you very much for explaining this. Is this expected to actually promote higher voter turnout?
Yes, because so one of the deficiencies, of course, if you live in one city and you have to go through the 215 and the I-15 to get back and forth to where you reside, where you can vote, it might dissuade a voter from voting on election day or even using some of the early vote sites. So it's expected to increase voter turnout. That's what our hope is.
Well, more voter empowerment. Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Well, Councilman Brown, would you like to make a motion on that?
Yeah, with this, I'd like to very enthusiastically make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 20, approve contract for consulting services with LPC Consulting, Inc. in the amount of $64,193.55 to provide consulting services to the City of North Las Vegas commencing July 19, 2018 through January 2019.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 21, pass and adopt resolution number 2612, permitting the lease of certain real property owned by the City of North Las Vegas to the Secretary of State to promote economic development pursuant to NRS 268.063.
Thank you. Director Gavin, are you still here? Could you just come up and explain what you've been able to accomplish here? I know when I first got here, we had different departments on every floor, half floors, and we kind of went through and space engineered it, and we opened up some particular floors that we thought could bring some revenue in the worst of our economic times, and Director Gavin's been responsible for that. Maybe you can give us how we're doing on the building and stuff.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, so we have been leasing the building. We have had a variety of tenants, mostly government. And so the Secretary of State is going to be taking occupancy on the 4th floor. We're very excited to have them in the building. They also will offer a service, obviously, to Southern Nevada, but also it gives our residents great access. We have INDOT and Ames also leasing space on the 3rd floor. And then we have Congressman Kuhn's office.
So this is going to net the city $300,000 more additional dollars to help us continue to move forward. And how much more space do you have available that could be for lease?
We have a portion of the 3rd floor. And so in total, there's maybe about 4,500 square feet.
Good job. Thank you very much. Council, do you have any questions on that, just for information?
Yeah, actually, not so much a question, more of anything, a comment. I just wanted to thank you and your team over there in Economic Development for working hard to make this possible. I know I'm very. It'll be a fantastic thing to have the Secretary of State, who is, of course, ultimately in charge of things like our statewide elections, to be housed right here in our fantastic little city hall. And I really look forward to this. It's been really difficult, in the past, Mayor. Of course, just taking a tour of City Hall and noticing that we had so much so much space that was open. And this is actually a huge step forward for us. And so I really like to, if I need to be there, to be on the bandwagon to roll out the red carpet for them and. Do anything I do to make it a real fiesta for them. Please include me. And unless anyone would like to make the motion, I know I'd like to make the motion to accept this.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Ms. Gavin, that is a world-class organization, Secretary of State's Office with great leadership. That's a good partner here for us.
Item 22, approve a 36-month lease agreement with the Secretary of State in the total revenue amount of $973,589.76 to occupy the fourth floor of City Hall and access to customer service windows on the first floor for 14,184 square feet of office space located at 2250 Las Vegas Boulevard North, and authorize the city manager or his designee to make any necessary modifications to the lease agreement as approved by the city attorney.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion to approve the lease with the Secretary of State's office.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Item is approved.
Item 23, amend the capital improvement plan to delete CIP project number 22030, apparatus, air resource refurbish unit 1548, and reallocate funding in the total amount of $250,000 in tax override fire funds to refurbish two existing fleet rescue ambulances, numbers 790 and 838, at the cost of $125,000 each.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this? And if not, the chair will take a motion.
I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 24, approve First Amendment to the interlocal agreement with Clark County to allow the transfer of $1,210,268 in unspent community development block grant funds from the Clark County to the City of North Las Vegas for current and ongoing approved activities, and authorize the city manager or his designee to enter in appropriate agreements or of approved projects as required, and authorize staff to administratively approve any revised funding allocations.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 25, approve air conditioner purchase and installation agreement with Action Air Conditioning, Inc. in the total amount of $60,242.46 for the purchase and installation of air conditioning units at Fire Station 52, located at 4110 Losey Road, CIP project number 25006.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Mr. City Manager, I'm assuming that this was bid out. Are you watching? Are we getting 3 bids on everything that we're doing?
Yes, sir, we are. Sometimes we're getting 2. It depends on how many qualified bidders there are, but we're still continuing that practice.
Okay, that'd be great. We want the best price we can for the residents. Madam City Clerk, go ahead.
Item 26, approve interlocal agreement number MN239-18110 with the State of Nevada Department of Transportation for the design, right-of-way acquisition, relocation of utilities, demolition of existing utilities, construction and maintenance of the I-15 Clark County 215 Interchange Project, CIP project number 10523.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments, questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
I'd just like to, of course, thank our staff for working on this one. and definitely working with our friends over at NDOT to make this, make the growth in that area possible, Mayor. It's going to be with the breadbasket area for the entire valley, as you're fond of pointing out. And unless my colleagues have anything else to say, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Thank you, Mr. Gaffron, our interim Public Works Director, for all your efforts in seeing that we're moving forward on these roads. It's a great joy to the residents to get these roads all fixed. Thank you.
Item 27, approve purchase agreement with Ferguson Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Ferguson Waterworks, Inc., in the total amount of $83,989 to purchase assorted traffic signaling equipment to replenish the city's existing inventory and use at the Traffic Operations Division.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 28, award bid number 1534 and approve mobile vehicle car wash service agreement with Mercury Cleaning, LLC, in a total amount not to exceed $350,000, $70,000 annually for a 3-year period, with an option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods to provide monthly cleaning services for city vehicles.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 29, pass and adopt resolution number 2598, repealing resolution numbers 2587, 2551, and 2535 to add provisions for term limits, limitations on citizen service, removal from office for the Veterans Community Commission, and removal of Section 1-B regarding a city-based nonprofit.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Hey, at this time, I might mention to the people in the audience, we've got some positions on our Veterans Commission. If you have had some service in the military and you have some expertise and you'd like to participate, we're looking for some qualified people right now that like to participate on that commission. So if that is the case, if you'll come up and let the city clerk know or leave your name, we'll get you here and interview you, and we'd love to have more residents involved. It's in North Las Vegas, but anybody can be on the commission, but we'd love to have as much North Las Vegas representation as we can. There's 40,000 people that have something to do in North Las Vegas with the military, whether they're service-related now, retired, dependents, spouses. So we are a very pro-military, military-friendly community. We'd love to have you think about coming on that commission with us. So moving on.
So, item 30, pass and adopt resolution number 2611, authorizing the city manager or his designee to give notice of the sale of properties subject to assessment lien that is delinquent and providing for other matters proper related thereto.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to ordinances final action.
Ordinances listed under final action were introduced at a previous council meeting for action at this meeting, but may include emergency ordinances. Item 31, pass and adopt ordinance number 2884, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 4.029 plus or minus acres therein from an R4 high-density residential district to a C1 neighborhood commercial district, ZN 1018 North 5th and Rome Commercial Lot, for property generally located at the northwest corner of North 5th Street and Rome Boulevard, and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Once again, state your name for the record.
Am I on that? Okay. Bob Feibelman with Nevada Hand, 295 East Warm Springs. We agree with staff's recommendations and seek your approval.
Okay. Do you have any idea what you want to do with that, other than I guess the apartment's going away, but what was your plan?
Yeah, sorry, let me explain what we've got. So this is our, yes, please. here. Zoom up, please. Or out. Up, higher, higher, higher. Out. Oh. All right, whatever. Can't go up, huh? Well, anyway. This is weird looking at this. We've got our phase one on one parcel, and I'm really happy because of the parceling tonight, we're able to move forward and close our financing, and we've been struggling to get all the financing together for quite a few months, and we've got it all together now, so we're ready to move forward on the project, which is pretty cool. The second parcel is for our future phase two of the affordable housing, and we're trying to get the financing together for that right now. On the commercial parcel along North 5th, we are in some negotiations with some users and buyers on that property, so I'm not at the liberty to really get into the details of that right now, but we are moving on that pretty quickly right now, and getting the parceling done is one of the criteria to move forward.
Thank you. I'm so appreciative when infill property finds the right reason to be filled up, and this is a very interesting opportunity not to have apartments, and to have homes for our people, so I appreciate that. Council, any comments or questions? Councilman Churchill is not here, so I'll let...
No, I'd just like to say, of course, I'm very appreciative of the work that Nevada Hand has done here in the downtown area of North Las Vegas. Your organization is helping to do a new reshaping here of the downtown area and providing great places for people to live. And so I'm looking forward to do the same thing in yet another one of the parts of my beloved little city.
Yeah, thank you.
And if
I actually spent 2 hours before this meeting down at our Rose Gardens community that is nearing completion. We hope to be done late October, early November, and essentially be able to move 120 families or seniors across the street to the new building. It's going to be really quite spectacular if you haven't been down there.
That'll be beautiful. That'll be a nice place for an Olive Garden, So if we go commercial, we'd like to see. I'm just throwing it out. So anyway, thank you so much, Council.
Do you have a phone number that we can use?
I don't, but that's your job.
All right.
So I'm just telling you.
We do have a great economic development office that probably help them. I'm just saying.
Councilman Black?
I just wanted to say I was at Rose Garden today, the old Rose Garden, for a resident committee meeting, and they're giddy with excitement to see the completion drawing near. They told me December 1st, so let's keep it a secret and we'll give them a surprise. They're excited about the completion and the move across the street.
Yeah, it's going real well. We're actually about 2 months ahead of schedule, and I'm sure the building department's been great to work with down there, and I think it's really turning out great. So if you haven't been down there, you should, and I'd be happy to take anybody that wants a tour through it myself also.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Councilman Brown?
Yeah, if you'd be so kind as to maybe call my secretary's office and arrange that. I know I'd love to see it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And in case, unless anybody else has to say, I'd like to make the motion to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Thank you.
Item 32, pass and adopt ordinance number 2890, repealing ordinance number 2613 and replacing the same with a new ordinance governing the salary and benefits for the municipal court judges and adjusting the compensation of alternate municipal court judges and providing other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you very much. We have a presentation from our judge.
Good evening, Judge Sean Hofkin, North Las Vegas Municipal Court. I just here to hopefully request and ask that you approve and adopt this item. And if I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any comments or questions?
Just to clarify, basically all we're being asked to do is just basically match what the other municipalities are doing in the compensation for their judges, correct?
Correct, is that we want to bring ourselves in line with what the other courts are doing. In particular, we did a study to look at what other jurisdictions are doing, in particular other municipal courts. And we would be in line with like Reno and Henderson Court, what they compensate their pro tem judges.
Thank you there, Judge.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Councilwoman Brown?
That was my question.
Hi.
Answered.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening.
Moving on to ordinances, introduction only.
There is no public comment for these items and no action will be taken by the council at this meeting. If you wish to speak on any of these items, please attend the meeting where the final action will be determined and submit a blue card to the clerk. Note for the viewing audience, earlier tonight, items 40, 41, 42, 44, and 46 were withdrawn, and council set the final action for items 38, 39, 43, and 45 to August 15th. Item 33, introduce ordinance number 2886, amending section 010, chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 32.75 plus or minus acres therein from a PUD, planned unit development district, to an M1, business park industrial district, ZN 1218, matter at Cheyenne, for property generally located at the northeast corner of Cheyenne Avenue and Valley Drive, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Item 34, introduce ordinance number 2887, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 6.71 plus or minus acres therein from a PUD, planned unit development district, to an RCL, single family compact lot residential district, ZN 1318, Provence and Simmons, for property generally located west of Simmons Street and approximately 575 feet north of Craig Road, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. 35, introduce ordinance number 2888, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 75.83 plus or minus acres therein from an MPC RZ6 master planned community residential district up to 6 dwelling units per acre, MPC RZ10 master planned community residential district up to 10 dwelling units per acre, MPC RZ13 master planned community district up to 13 dwelling units per acre, and MPC RZ50 master planned community district up to 50 dwelling units per acres to an RCL PCD medium density residential planned community district, ZN 1418, Villages at Tully Springs, for property generally located at the southeast corner of Grand Teton Drive and Clayton Street alignment, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto. Item 36, introduce ordinance number 2889, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 29.01 plus or minus acres therein from an MPC RZ6 master planned community residential district up to 6 dwelling units per acre, MPC RZ10 master planned community residential district up to 10 dwelling units per acre, and MPC RZ13 master planned community district up to 13 dwelling units per acre to an R1 PCD medium low density residential, MPCD medium low density residential planned community district, ZN 1518, Villages at Tully Springs, for property generally located at the southeast corner of Grand Teton Drive and Clayton Street alignment, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Item 37, introduce ordinance number 2891, amending ordinance numbers 2711, 2267, 2746, and 2757. Amending the development agreement for the Villages at Tully Springs between the City of North Las Vegas and KBS SOR Park Highlands LLC, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto. Item 38, introduce ordinance number 2892, amending Title 15 of the Municipal Code by repealing existing Chapter 15. .76 by repealing ordinance number 2657 and by adopting the International Residential Code 2018 edition, with the exception of Chapter 3, Section R313, and the Southern Nevada amendments to the 2018 International Residential Code, which conform the residential code in North Las Vegas to Southern Nevada practices, provide penalties for the violation thereof, and provide for other matters properly related thereto. Item 39, introduce ordinance number 2893, amending Title 15 Municipal Code by repealing existing Chapter 15.16 by repealing ordinance number 2660, and adopting the Uniform Plumbing Code 2018 edition and the Southern Nevada amendments to the 2018 Uniform Plumbing Code, which conform the plumbing code in North Las Vegas to Southern Nevada practices, provide penalties for the violation thereof, and provide for other matters properly related thereto. Item 43, Introduce ordinance number 2897, amending Title 15 of the Municipal Code by repealing existing Chapter 15.08 by repealing ordinance number 2659 and by adopting the Uniform Mechanical Code 2018 edition and the Southern Nevada amendments to the 2018 Uniform Mechanical Code, which conform the Mechanical Code in North Las Vegas to Southern Nevada practices, provide penalties for the violation thereof, and provide for other matters properly related thereto. Item 45, introduce ordinance number 2899, amending Title 15 of the Municipal Code by repealing existing Chapter 15.32, by repealing ordinance number 2524, and by adopting the International Energy Conservation Code 2018 edition and the Southern Nevada amendments to the 2018 International Energy Conservation Code, which conform the Energy Conservation Code in North Las Vegas to Southern Nevada practices, provide penalties for violations thereof, and provide for other matters properly related thereto. Item 47, introduce ordinance number 2903, amending Title 10 of the Municipal Code to establish the Parking Services Division of the Economic and Business Development Department of the city and to establish restrictions for parking in the public right-of-way and civil penalties therefor, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Item 48, introduce ordinance number 2904, authorizing the issuance by the City of North Las Vegas, Nevada, of its general obligation, limited tax, water bonds, additionally secured by pledged revenues, Series 2018D, and providing other matters properly related thereto.
We'll just take a break for a second. Good job. Thank you, Madam City Clerk, for moving through those. Those are going to be exciting things to talk about. Moving on to appointments.
Note for the viewing audience, earlier tonight, the council continued items 49 through 53 to August 15th.
Thank you. And that's once again on those positions on the Veterans Community Commission, if you're interested. Moving on to City Manager's report.
Mayor and Council, it's hard to follow up the clerk on that. That was amazing. It reminded me when I worked on Capitol Hill, they'd have the person read all the bills. Oh. I just sometimes was amazed as they were able to do that, and really they did it really fast too. Not that the clerk didn't do it fast, but it was amazing. So without a lot of fanfare, item number 47 had its first read tonight. We'll be talking about that in the next council meeting. But this is something that I think I just wanted to highlight now. We're going to spend a little bit of time highlighting this because we want the residents in the community to kind of understand what's going on here. I don't know if Serafin's still here. So Serafin Calvo is going to be starting at the city on Monday. Right? Yeah, it starts on Monday. This is really something that we first began talking about in the city during the Shared Services Committee meetings, late 2013, early 2014. There was originally some conversation with the city of Las Vegas potentially providing this service for the city of North Las Vegas. At the time, there was some concern on whether this would be appropriate of having another entity coming in and creating potential complaints as they perform their function in parking services, and how we would deal with that they wouldn't be our employees underneath our control. But there were some concerns about it. So after a few conversations with Las Vegas, where they had kind of come back and asked if this was something we were interested in doing again. If you recall, during the shared services conversation, another issue that came up was the split on what would happen with revenues that were generated. And this is a program that is really about increasing property values and community beautification, which is why you'll notice in the code that it's going to be underneath Director Gavin in Economic Development. This is something that I think I've briefed all of you all on. I actually went out to kind of look at some of the issues, and actually while I was doing this, I watched a young child fish a soccer ball out from underneath a car that one of its wheels was up on a cinder block. And I just thought, wow, that is a real danger. Our ability to really affect property values starts at code enforcement. It starts at being able to beautify our community. So I'm excited about bringing this service into City of North Las Vegas. It is going to be something that we're going to be spending some time educating our residents on. You'll notice that this is not a service that's underneath law enforcement like it is in a lot of other places. Like maybe if you watch like Parking Wars on TV, someone had told me about this, and I watched a YouTube clip. It's not going to be something like that where it's not all about tickets. It's not just about revenue. It's actually about increasing property values, making our community safer. So we'll have a more formal presentation on this, but I just wanted to call some further attention to it as we begin this process. Director Goldberg will have some fun, I guess, in making sure that the community is aware of what's going on. We, as you all know, this is a common issue that we have. A lot of our city tracks are complaints in this regard, and really moving them over to police department, which has other priorities, has not been very effective. So by bringing this service on, which will, within a short amount of time, we expect that it'll be something that will be fully funded through the revenues that it creates. In addition, we believe that it'll be able to create revenues to bring on other code enforcement, which has just a very, not even tangential, but really an overlapping service to ensure that we're providing these code enforcement type services to the community.
Thank you. I know you're going to do an in-depth presentation, you said later, but Councilman Brown has a question.
Yeah, Mr. City Manager, thank you so very much. And of course, in my talking, I think I had a very extensive interview with Mr. Seraphim. Probably, with all respect to my colleagues here, if there's anybody who actually interacts with code enforcement the most, it's probably me. You know, that's why I like to have carne asada for these guys, because you know they're very hard working along with our people over in graffiti removal and our cleanup crews. You know, a big shout out, of course, for our very, I call him Superman, John Runix. But again, and this is something that affects, I know, my ward personally. Everything from down here where we have issues again with people parking their trailers on the public right of way, which of course makes it, you know, very dangerous for people. Again, for the children who park. And of course, in our neck of the woods, we have this issue with semi-tractor trailers parking on private property or along right-of-ways. And it's not that we're trying to be, you know, hammer down on the tractor trailer drivers, but they don't belong on those public right-of-ways where they're literally destroying these roads that were not built to handle these tractor trailers, and then the city winds up having to do some very expensive repairs to correct the situation. And so I know, again, to improve the quality of life of our residents, I really look forward, you know, to doing. And again, I think this is going to be our friends and police. They're going to be very happy to have someone up there to essentially it's a force multiplier for them, because this allows them to do more of the high level work that they're hired to do, and actually go out and patrol. And I'm really looking forward, you know, to parking, just as a step in the upgrade, you know, to the quality of life here. And I can think of one neighborhood, again in the north, where they're having issue with some of their neighbors who are not quite as, how should I say, considerate. And there's a certain neighborhood in the northern part of the ward where the people are not allowed to park. I mean, they live in a gated community, very, very limited parking, and they wind up even whenever they have parties in this neighborhood, they'll actually park in the next neighborhood over, and actually caravan. 5-6 cars will park along the street, taking up public parking all up and down that street. So now the residents in that neighborhood can't park. They'll have one person in a car, literally. And then when I called that the management of that other offending part, and they actually have told me, well, there's nothing you guys can do about it. Well, now there will be.
Yeah, I appreciate that. As someone who, I don't know if it's because we were law students, but it seemed like when I was in graduate school, the parking enforcement officers at the University of Iowa like to pick on us. And maybe it's because we like to try and argue tickets. We thought we were pretty awesome. And I was always kind of fearful when I had to run in and do something in the library that I'd come out and there'd be an orange boot on my car. So I was a little I want to say I approached this with kids' gloves because I understood the importance of it for the community, but I was a little concerned about it at first because of I think if you mess with people's cars or you mess with people's kids, you're going to get a fight. And after talking with Seraphin, even though he was in my office trying to pitch this going over to Las Vegas, it just clicked, and I realized he was a rock star, realized he was a talent that would be tremendous for North Las Vegas. And so, right there in front of his boss, I said, well, why don't you just come work for North Las Vegas? Why would I have Las Vegas do this for us? We can do this for ourselves. And he is a tremendous asset that's going to be able to come over, and it's appropriate that all of our rock stars at least spend some time with who probably is our self-proclaimed rock star, Gina. So it'll be a good team over there.
I just might add just something interesting. I don't know if you're aware, but Director Gavin and Tara Anderson and myself met with the Nevada Transportation Commission, Department of Transportation, Nevada Truckers Association, the Highway Patrol. We recognize by all this growth we're bringing to North Las Vegas, we're also bringing in more tractors and trailers. So we're trying to figure out, if you don't work for a company that just the truck comes back and forth to your lot all day long, where do you park while you're waiting for that business to open? Or they schedule you from 3 to 4 to come in and unload. And so we're trying to figure out how do we keep those truckers off our roads, out somewhere near our industrial area out there, to help those truckers have a place to park, wait for their assignment, and then come back. It's not fair to that industry, who we need so much in this country, to not provide them somewhere where they can go and not have to hide on our streets or something. So they are good business people, good drivers, and we want to make it a good experience if we can, to stop what you just mentioned about our little streets with not enough thickness of asphalt being damaged by these trucks. So that was a good point. Any other questions for City Manager?
Thanks, Mr. City Manager. And I just think, as with anything new or with any change, we're going to get a lot of pushback, but I think we will get more in support of what we're doing here. So I just think as much public outreach before this rolls out is extremely important for our citizens.
Yes, ma'am, I completely agree. I think that for every call that you get for someone that's wondering where their car is or why they got a ticket or why this is happening to them, there's probably 100 calls you don't get of neighbors and other residents that are glad that these issues are being taken care of. And I think we all understand that in a public service type of a organization, that we typically will hear from people that have concerns, but there'll be a lot of quiet cheerleaders that'll be very, very glad that this is being brought to the city.
Thank you for that great report. Great things are happening under your leadership. Moving on to public forum, now is the time set aside for the public to speak on issues not posted on the agenda. Remember, the council can hear your items, but we can take no action tonight upon any items raised during the public forum. I've got a couple cards here. Mr. Richard, please come forward. Following Mr. Richard, we will ask Mr. Stanley Washington to come address us.
Mr. Washington wants to go ahead of me. I'm cool.
No, he walked out of might not be coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. But you are cool.
Got some graphics here, so turn on the camera. Got a beautiful picture here. Get that up on the big screen. Has to warm up. Okay, I want to talk about two amazing people who have made a difference in everyone's life in this country. One is John McCain. John McCain was born August 26, 1936. He graduated from the Naval Academy in 1958. He followed in the footsteps of his father and his grandfather, who were both four-star naval admirals. He became a Navy aviator and flew many missions in Vietnam. He was almost killed in 1967. In October, while flying a mission over Hanoi, he was shot down and seriously injured. He was captured and became a prisoner of war for 7 years. During this time, McCain was tortured. He was fed unhealthy food. He was forced to drink contaminated water. He was actually offered respiration and could have gotten out of this prisoner of war camp early, but he chose to stay with the men he was shot down with. McCain was elected senator of Arizona in 1986. Although a conservative, he often crossed party lines and put the good of the country ahead of politics. He ran for president in 2008. He ran a clean and transparent campaign. In the middle of a debate, when a woman grabbed his microphone away from him and accused Obama of being a Muslim and a terrorist, he calmly took the microphone away from the woman and defended the person he was running against, saying that Mr. Obama, President Obama, is not a terrorist. He's not a Muslim. In fact, he's a good person. We just have different ideas about where the future of this country needs to go. John McCain, as most of you know, is currently dying of brain cancer. We don't know how much longer he's going to be with us, but he's vowed to fight for this country until his dying day. Okay, moving right along, I want to talk about this man, our President of the United States and fearless leader. Donald Trump was born in June 14, 1946. He was a son of Fred Trump, a New York developer. Fred Trump was a white supremacist who taught his son that the white race was
Mr.
the only
Bouchard,
people
we're
qualified.
not here to debate his father's.
I'm sorry, what?
We're here to do basically city work. We're not here to debate Mr. McCain or Mr. Trump. We're local level people. That's national politics.
Yeah, I know.
So
I thought this was my time.
It is, but we pretty much stayed towards city business.
That's
things
annoying
that
me.
will
What?
benefit the city of North Las Vegas.
Well, these people have an impact on our city.
Yeah, well, that's why we have Congress people to keep them in line. So I just,
Okay, I did not know.
Yeah.
I thought this was my time. If I wanted to tell jokes or sing a song, I thought this was my time.
But I mean, even
So it's
if we
not my
talked
time.
about a county commissioner, we would say, wait, we don't get into that here. So, but you can talk to Mr. Juden about anything you want later on. He's standing by.
Okay.
So, anyway, moving on, Mr. Washington.
I love a country that has freedom of speech, don't you? I wouldn't live anywhere else.
Well, you know. Anyway, Stanley Washington, 3432 North Bruce, North Las Vegas. Here to talk about an opportunity, something I had brought to the Las Vegas Commission Visitor Authority at their last meeting. I believe, Mayor, you were there when I was last, and I talked about an opportunity to take advantage of the celebration space. You know, R&R was there giving their presentation. They were talking about the budgets, and the specific part that I remember the most is toward the end when you said, okay, well, what can we do to go ahead and get North Las Vegas back into action? What about my separate tourist thing? And they're like, well, nah, that's not what it is. You're part of the group here, and we're really not paying attention to you right now. You're on your own. And I think it was the Mayor Henderson said, well, look, you know, we're doing all these wonderful things ourselves, and you should go ahead and promote Craig Ranch on your own and get innovative and all the rest of that good stuff. Somewhere along those lines is what how the conversation went. So when I came up and I talked about taking advantage of an opportunity, and that was the space of celebrations. Las Vegas has been the wedding capital of the world, convention capital of the world, gambling capital of the world. It also has an opportunity to also become, as a branding standpoint, the celebration capital of the world. And with that particular opportunity there, I had brought forth a couple of concepts that I've shared with pretty much most of the rest of the commissioners. I'm just not getting over it to yourself. And that is really throwing the celebrations for the championship sports. Like, for instance, right now, I've met with Las Vegas events, met with Oscar, met with all the players, and really I've shared with them, I said, look, we have an opportunity to go ahead, and of the hundreds of millions of French fans that are around the world, to go ahead and throw the party for the world champion France soccer team, as well as the other three who made it, Belgium and England, and have an opportunity to bring literally hundreds of thousands, not millions of people into town, because they have those type of fans there, and occupy that space. It's a 3-day proposal. big event at T-Mobile. Been working with MGM on that. The second day is a public block party, Fremont Street Experience. The third day would be a North Las Vegas event, back to your Craig Ranch concept. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and have an opportunity to go ahead and meet with you further on it, meet with Ms. Gavin, whoever, so I can bring you in the loop. I have met with pretty much the rest of the players. The idea would basically, the invitation would come from the mayors, yourself and Ms. Goodman there, to now the mayor of Paris there, and to the players, inviting them, and then for the programming that's in place. So I wanted to go ahead and talk to the powers to be on your side more about that and a separate sidebar.
So Stanley, your funding and your partnership would be the LVCBA?
Well, the LVCA right now, this would basically be a private event. They would basically do their normal role. R&R would use the advertising budget. Las Vegas Events would deal with the hotel rooms and doing all the logistics. And so right now, they said, okay, Stan, we're with you. You go out and get your sponsor to go ahead and fund it, and we'll play all the roles that we basically do. We're with you. So that part, because it's a private entrepreneur event, I, Derek Browning, bringing forward in partnership with. I haven't asked any of them, for any money. It's certainly short run. So I said, well, look, let's go ahead and agree on this being something that makes sense to go ahead and do it. And I'll go out and hustle up the funds, get my sponsors like anybody else do, bring forth an idea.
Yeah, I understand that. It's very hard anymore to get them to support a lot of local.
Yeah, that's why I didn't ask them. That's why I didn't. So. As far as the functionality of Las Vegas events, the logistics, and you're talking about that type of activity, no one does it better. So I just brought it all to R&R. Here you guys, here it is. Don't worry, I'll go out and get the funds for it. But that's where it's basically going. So, and at that particular point in time, you may say, okay, but Stan, once you get in set, let you know that we'll go ahead and make the invitation and coming up, basically. And I'm working with T-Mobile Arena on the main show there. So anyway. It's very doable. We'll go ahead and see, but I want to go ahead and make sure that you're in the loop, because the idea is that the invitation would come from the mayors of North Las Vegas and Las Vegas to the mayors up here, to the team.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you. Mr. Johnson, once again. And thank you for coming up and clearing up that other item that Mr. Richard brought up. That was very nice of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. John Johnson, for the record, 4265 Village Hill Street, Las Vegas, Nevada. I come up here a lot and I talk about the cannabis. I'm going to continue to talk about that today. I want to let you guys know, a lot of people talk about Denver and how Denver was first. So I went and did some research and found out exactly how they did it and what was the model that they used. So Denver used a ballot initiative. What they did was they drafted regulations, they put it on the ballot, and they let the people of Denver decide. So that's what we're going to do here in North Las Vegas. I've already talked to the Secretary of State, Deputy Director Wayne Thorley, who runs the election department. So per NRS, you need 15% of the registered voters who voted in the last city election to sign your petition, which means we need 488 signatures to have our ordinance put on the ballot. So that's what we're going to do. I've had meetings with all of you guys. It doesn't sound like you guys want to take that first step in creating a city ordinance. So this way it allows the community to go ahead on and create it and also pass it the same way that we pass recreational cannabis. I also found out that Emmett, who was the campaign manager for it was I-300 in Colorado, now lives out here in Las Vegas, and he actually works for one of the cultivation and production companies here in Las Vegas, and he's currently helping us create the ordinances. So we're going to have town hall meetings, we're going to have workshops, we're going to get the community involved. We also have a community survey that we're conducting. We're going to be knocking on doors and doing a lot of different other things. There are some people here that came in support of what we're doing. They're going to be speaking as well. So I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention so we can all be on the same page, because one of the biggest things that happen in Colorado, that we don't want to happen here is that you have two things. You have an ordinance, but then you have regulations that regulate those ordinances. So what happened in Denver was they put together the ordinances. They had the back, from like schools and different things to have the 100 different feet. But when it came to regulation, the city manager, the business director put in different ordinances such as daycares and different things, which now made it impossible for a business to open up and will be a prime location. So that's why in Denver there's only one business that has a license to open up, and it's a coffee shop, and she's in a location that's really bad and it is not heavily traveled. So what we want to do is we want to work with the city to create the ordinances and also the regulations so we know what's going on, so it's not like a bait and switch. So it's not something that we vote on and agree on as a community, and then you guys as a city municipality goes in and changes it through the regulation process. So that's what we're looking to do, and hopefully we can gain all of you guys' support in this process because it's very important to the cannabis community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this your daughter with you, John?
Yes.
You got a cute daughter. So we'll see that on the 2027 ballot, correct?
No, it will go on the 2019.
Oh, John, you're pushing me.
The 2019.
All right. Thank you so much. I just wanted to get you on the record stating you do it in 2027. Didn't work. Moving forth, Peter Logheads. Am I saying this right, Peter? Are you here? Oh, please come, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, Lougheed. There you go. I saw your little phonically thing written.
Do we have a thing, or is it just up here? Okay. Okay, cool. My name. No. I got it. My name is Peter Lougheed, and I am a medical refugee from the state of Missouri. My name is Peter Lougheed, and I'm a medical refugee that relocated to North Las Vegas from the state of Missouri. In the state of Missouri, access to cannabis is highly regulated. It's illegal not only on a federal level but a state level. And carrying medicine that I depend on a daily basis would be considered not only a felony, but it jeopardizes my wife, who works in the school system. And with being illegal, if we get pulled over and I have something on me in a state where it's illegal, it jeopardizes her career. So with everything considered, we decided to relocate to an area that I could legally have access to medication and she could work without fear of losing livelihood. She is a PhD level with CCSD, so she's had a lot of years experience with the school district. And it would be a shame to lose her in a public forum like that just for me having access to medication. The reason why I'm actually backing public consumption is because if people want to medicate and take their opiates, they can anywhere. They can carry them with them. If people want to go have alcohol, they can go to bars anywhere and have that. It's a much more dangerous situation to put people in than medicating with cannabis. And medicating with cannabis not only is getting high, it's not sitting around just being stoned and eating munchies and things like that. If I don't take cannabis, my legs shake and I can't hardly move. My hand draws up to my chest and it severely limits my ability to function. And that's just me, but there's a ton of other people that have crippling anxiety where they can't face the public. We're talking about veterans with PTSD that don't want to be in public situations. Or they can't. But if they do get out into the public situations, they can't medicate. So that means if their medication starts to wear off after they leave home, they have no other place except to go all the way back home. With that being said, if we did open up public consumption locations, I've been to the one in Denver. The one in Denver I actually sat in there, and that's when I had a discussion with my wife. Well, we needed to relocate for a safe haven. And we were choosing between Denver and Las Vegas. Las Vegas offered her the job first. We came out and checked it out. And being a tourist town, the accessibility here is bar none compared to Colorado. So that was an easy decision. Since I've been out here, my story has actually made it into the Elevate Nevada, which is it's a printed copy that has a circulation of 30,000 wide through the city through the whole state of Nevada. And it not only am I working for everybody to be able to medicate and enjoy this recreation. Let me pull up this picture real quick. I understand the legalities that surround it, and that's one of the decisions why I relocated out here. This is a picture of me. I'm a former deputy sheriff with Bexar County Sheriff's Department in San Antonio, and with one of the local, I was a patrolman. That's where the concern for all the legalities come in. I guess that's my time. But that's,
well, thank you and welcome to North Las Vegas.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
We have Mr. Steve Schoaf. Please come forward, Steve.
Again, my name's Steve Schoaf. I live at 5622 Midnight Breeze Street, North Las Vegas. As everybody knows, especially the teachers up there, school's getting ready to start. I happen to have the privilege of being a school crossing guard, and I work on the corner of Ann and Bruce. Last year I came up here several times asking the city if they would put the last stop sign up on Ann and Bruce that's in the center island going west on Ann. People run through that intersection all the time anyway. Going east there is a stop sign, a flashing stop sign. But on the west side, on the opposite side of the street going west, there isn't one. In the morning when the buses show up and they sit in front of that right turn only and block that stop sign, nobody sees the stop signs and they just blow right through that intersection. We have to step out and hopefully stop the cars that are coming through, none of them doing 35, of course. And it's become somewhat of a safety problem. I asked Jennifer Duty several times last year if she could put that stop sign up, and the response at the time was you didn't have any. I guess the ones that were some of the ones that were taken down by the builder of the Ann Road, the new Ann Road that's put in right now, hadn't returned them to the city. So now I'm coming again to ask if you could put that flashing stop sign up on the center island westbound, just to make it safer for myself and my partner and all those little kids that cross there every day.
Okay, Dale Daffern's right there, and behind him in the back is Mike Hutchins. Mike will visit with you, but that sounds like something we should look at. Appreciate your eyes on that.
Well, I appreciate that. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you, Stephen. We have Miss Miriam Gibson. Welcome, Ms. Gibson.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here to discuss the opening of marijuana lounges in North Las Vegas. I was with the Jackie Rosen Saturday and mentioned to her about the marijuana, and she said it's a very good chance that they're going to take it off the, I think, level 1 or system 1 list, that they have a lot of Republicans that she spoke to up there in the White House that said that they was favor of that. I know that's maybe one of you guys' concerns about maybe giving permission for them to have a lounge. But in researching the Nevada revised statutes, there are provisions in the Nevada law that makes it possible to establish such an establishment like that here without being illegal. There are ways in which you could do it. They don't necessarily have to be in competition with dispensaries. The person should be able to come, and they should not have to go home to smoke their weed like people that want to drink and not be in there with their kids while they're drinking. They should have a place where someone can go and recreationally smoke weed. In addition to that, it's a business opportunity. It's a chance for small business people to get a piece of the pie. I don't know whether this is working. Okay, yeah, it's working. So, I think that it's an opportunity to get jobs for people. It's a way of bringing revenue into North Las Vegas. And I'm also the vice chair of the Black Democratic Caucus. And a lot of our members are in favor of the two. And I'm also a resident of North Las Vegas. So I hope that you would seriously consider this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gibson. Is there anybody else that wanted to Speak to the council. Seeing no one, this meeting is adjourned.